the flames will stand tall, with the courage to reveal through the rise and the fall. From the embers of the war to the echoes of the call, we're the eyes of the world and we'll never stall. KLW, we're the warriors on the front lines. Through the blood and the fire we'll define the times. In the heat of the battle where the truth aligns, we're the voice of the war and the world will find. From the ruins and the wreckage, every story's told. Through the tears and the heartbreak, the bravery unfolds. In the darkest hours, when the world's torn apart, KLW brings the stories straight from the heart. With the cameras rolling through the wreckage and the pain, we capture the reality while the world remains. Every angle, every moment in the line of fire, we're the pulse of the battlefield, never to tire. KLW, we're the warriors on the front lines. Through the blood and the fire we'll define the times. In the heat of the battle where the truth aligns, we're the voice of the war and the world will find. KLW, we're the warriors on the front lines. Through the blood and the fire we'll define the times. In the heat of the battle where the truth aligns, we're the voice of the war and the world will find. Through the smoke and the ruins we'll pierce the veil. With every breath we take and every tale, we're the heartbeat of the conflict in the shadowed frail. With KLW's vision, the truth won't fail. Stand firm, we're the beacon in the fray. Through the dust and the fury, we'll light the way. In the fight for the truth, where the heroes lay. KLW, the story's here to stay. KLW, we're the warriors on the front lines. Through the blood and the fire, we'll define the times. In the heat of the battle where the truth aligns, we're the voice of the war and the world will find. So here's to the courage and the tales we unfold. In the heart of the conflict, our story's told. KLW, with the truth we hold. In the fire of the war, our legacy bold.
You can't handle the truth. KLW World News coming to you live from the KLW World News headquarters. There is a lot going on in the world today, folks. I want to thank you for joining us for this quick briefing here. Folks have said that, well, there hasn't been a lot of activity of Forte 10 in and around the Baltics having a look-see at Belarus and Kaliningrad. And I've said that that was because some of the troops that were sent to that area to bolster the troops that were in Belarus when the incursion of Ukraine took place into Russia, some of those troops weren't stationed there anymore and were transferred down along the area where Ukraine was coming in and along the northern border of Ukraine near Belarus and southern Russia to prevent another incursion by the Ukrainians. So, in response to that, the Russians ordered up a bunch more Chinese and 250,000 North Koreans. Now, that's 250,000 more troops. That's as many as Russia went into Ukraine with to start with. Imagine that. Yeah, this is public. Everything we do on YouTube is public. Rutro Media, fearmongers? Well, let's not be a fearmonger, Rutro, since obviously you know absolutely nothing about it. Let's have a look-see here, because right now we have Forte 10, who has just finished the flight path up here, but oh, gee, look, we've got the Swedes also flying this flight path. Now, the interesting part about the Swedes flying the flight path, because Rutro don't know shit. The interesting part about this is you will see that they are flying parallel lines. Even the notch is even with Brest. And why is the notch even with Brest? Look at that right here. Okay, I don't have to fearmonger. You can fucking look at it yourself. But you see, Rutro don't know. This is what happens when idiots show up in the advanced class. So you can see that they did their curve here. What's directly to the right of that? Brest. What's below Brest? Wow, the giant training area that we've been talking about for a long time. Look at that. Giant training area right here. It is. Here's the ranges. Here's the helipads. We even see the largest helicopter in the world has been here. Let's see if they've updated the footage. Oh, gee, looky there. That's the largest helicopter in the world. Is right on the border. You don't think China and North Korea are going to do anything? Indian outlaw? You don't know anything at all, do you, outlaw? That's what people said before Russia went into Ukraine the first time. That's what people said before Russia went into Ukraine second time. So outlaw, you may be an outlaw, but you're an idiot too because you don't know dick about this. Go somewhere else. Go watch Lookner. He's more your speed. Count how many times I've been wrong compared to how many times I've been right. You'll find out I'm right more than 99% of the time. Well above. So, wanted to show you the helicopter here. Also wanted to show you the fording ponds. These are ponds that are put in so you can run your tanks through and make sure that they float. So you fill these up with water. You drive your tank down in there. And you'll notice why this is sandy over here, but this is a lot cleaner. And that's because when they come out of there, the water washes the dirt away. Gee, look at that. And then, note, there's a road that goes from here straight over to the river. Hey, Indian, there's the border. That's the Bug River. They can ford right across that. That's Poland. So this is the Polish border. Look close here. Fording ponds, river, Poland. Again, fording ponds, river, Poland. Road running from fording ponds to river to Poland. And so this is what we're looking at right now. Gee, this is also what Forte is looking at. And gee, this is also what the Swedes are looking at. But the interesting part is the Swedes lowered their altitude right here. Now you see idiots like Indian and that other Rutro who don't know. See, they don't even understand why the aircraft would decrease its altitude right here. That's to get a better look angle on a closer target. Because when your look angle is only so low and you're so close to it, if you want to get a better look, you got to do two things. You got to either bank into it, which, well, that's kind of harder to do unless you want to orbit it, or you can decrease your altitude and take a much better look at a close-in target. And gee, look right here. Would you look at that? Right parallel with this training area here at Brest. Remember we showed you the train with the 1.75 million gallons of diesel fuel on it, sitting right there on the border. Remember we showed you that? Gee, that's exactly where it's looking because the train's right here in Brest. And guess what? It hasn't moved. It's still there. Here's the map of the area. You can see exactly where the Russians have been training here. We can see all of the new construction. We've flown this area We'll do it again. Look at all the new buildings. Gee, all nice new construction in here. Funny how all that happens. We're going to get some more recent images too. We've got access to that kind of stuff. So the French haven't done a crazy flight yet, so we're not worried. When the French start doing crazy shit in the air, that's when you got to look out, because it always hits the fan after that. But they've been doing a lot more work out here, a lot more training. Look at all this new stuff. We're going to have to fly this. This is all new down here. I love how they added all this. A lot more driving around too, because you can see that the ground is torn up more trails. Oh, by the way, here's the UAV runway we didn't talk about. We have in the past. But that UAV runway, where does it point? Gee, straight over here. Come straight west. Real good for you. UAV runway, Poland. UAV runway, Poland. Now, for the idiot Indian, okay, let's go up here. Let's go to Haradna. I bet you he don't even know where Haradna is. Do you? Can you find it on a map? You know what country it's in. Here's Haradna. Now, if you look up, you see this river going up through Haradna. Now, if you come up here and you go up this way, okay? And when you go up this way, if you come over here and you find the Polish border right here, and you go from the Polish border 3.4 miles to the east, you will find a huge S-400 missile complex that grows bigger every time. Holy shit, they've added on even more up here. That grows bigger every time we take a look at it. Look at all these radar sites here. Wow. Look, there's another radar site. And they also built a new helipad over there and another radar site. You're like, damn, Lee, that's a lot of radar. What are you going to do with all that radar? Well, that's real simple. We're going to launch all these fucking missiles is what we're going to do. 4 missiles, 4 missiles, 4 missiles, 4 missiles. Gee, 4 more, 4 more, 4 more, 4 more. And oh, wow, these are vertical. And so are those. Holy mackerel. There's a bunch of missiles there. But you look over here and, oh, wow, 4 more, 4 more, 4 more. 4 more, 4 more, 4 more, 4 more, 4 more, 4 more, 4 more. And damn, another radar site. Holy shit, that's a lot of missiles. Just 3.4 miles from the Polish border. But wait, there's more. If you come just south of that, holy shit, look at the stockpiles. Now, by the way, these are stacked 3 deep here. When they stack them up like this, they're stacked 3 deep. That's how these are all stacked. Come over here, more launchers, more command vehicles. Wow, another radar site, more missiles. Holy shit, you know, and if you're going to have a bunch of missiles like this and you're going to have a sustained war, you really need to be able to produce those missiles pretty close by so you can just like bring them out and fire them, right? Well, you're not going to believe this because, well, you've got this huge missile complex right here. And then you've got this huge missile complex right here. And wow, if you're planning on spending a lot of them, why not build a missile production facility next to the missile launcher? I wouldn't invest in BRICS. And we don't do investment advice here. You want to invest in something, invest in yourself, your family. And yes, this is right on the Polish line, 3.4 miles from Poland. I can build a drone UAV and hit the fucking thing myself from Poland right now. So, people don't want to believe what I'm saying? Look for your fucking self. I didn't make this. This isn't CGI. This isn't something that Lee pulled out of his ass. This is on the map right now. Go look for yourself. Go fly over there and look at it. It's brand new, CH. The facility you're looking at is brand new. We've been watching the construction of this for almost a year. Who in here can verify that we've been watching this almost a year? There's 335 people in here. I know damn well there's somebody in here that has been watching the construction of this site with me for a year. See? So I told you this was coming. Here we are. It's here right now. And so somebody asked me yesterday, they said, you know, they haven't been doing the flights much. What does that mean? And I told them that that's because there hadn't been anything going on up there. They didn't need to waste the flights, waste the fuel, waste the time. Yes, that is forward deployed, CH. Absolutely. Right. We even toured the area flying the sim, and we're going to do that again. Well, it could be the October surprise because there's a lot going on over there. So I told the person, let me finish my story. I told the person that I spoke to yesterday, this is a KLW World News member. They asked me about this, and I told them that there hadn't been any flights because there hadn't been anything going on. And then I told them this flight would determine if something was going on, because if something was going on, the number of flights would tick back up. No, those are S-400, S-500, S-550 launch sites is what you're seeing there, CH. So those are, we know where those sites are too. The mobile ICBM launchers, we know where they are. We've flown those. We can show you where they are. We can show you where they are in Belarus. In fact, we've flown that. We're going to do it. We're going to take this channel right here. I'm going to fire up a simulator because I haven't flown a simulator in weeks. We're going to come take a look at this. I want to see if I can get some better imagery of this. And then I got a couple other places I want to fly. And then we're going to fly around Taiwan. Yes, anti-air. Well, S-400 can be used for ground attack as well, but it's a waste of the warhead. It's not really made for that, but it can be used for ground attack if necessary. So in the conversation that I had in regards to Forte 10 flying the area, I said if there were anything to be found, then there would be additional flights. Well, what do we find? So, and I want to go back in time so I can show you this because I've got them both highlighted here, but I want to show them to you here. And that's because what we see here is Forte did its little dance here And you'll notice that they paid a whole lot of attention to Brest right here. See how they went up, came down, and made another loop, and Brest is in it? Now, how do we know they're looking at Brest? It's real freaking simple, folks. You take the center of this span, and you draw a line out from it. You take the center of this angle, and you draw a line out from it. And you take the center of this angle, and you draw a line out from it. And guess what? That's the area of surveillance that you get. Okay. So I don't do predictions to tell you what's going to happen. Happy girls. That's not my job. My job is to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and to show it to you and prove it to you. To bring you the stuff that nobody else will. To get rid of the hype. Correct. Well, they've been moving them, Evil. They've been moving them. So we know that they're looking in here. Now, we move forward in time here. We will see our Swedes here somewhere have come in and flown this area at a lower altitude, because I just showed it to you a few minutes ago. Right here. So here's the Swedes coming in. That's one of the Swedish flights. Here's the other. And they're flying it right here. And if you see when they come down here, this is their notch. They're getting lower. And they want to take a good look at all of this area here. So this is an additional flight on top of the Forte flight that we just saw. So yes, there is something transpiring because they came through with Forte first. And when they came through with Forte first, Forte saw something. They called the Swedes, and the Swedes came in to take another look at it in charge instead of Brio. And we also need to see what Brio was doing to see if they're somewhere else, see if they're being refitted, see if they got new aircraft. But as you can see, there's a lot more activity there now. So I'm expecting to see more flights along the border up here with Brest. Now, people say that the Russians don't want to go into any other countries. The people saying that, the Russians, they're just there. This is a special military operation. They have no intentions of going into any other countries. Why would the Russians want to do that? Well, I want to point out to you something. Russians have propagandists. Those propagandists are paid to convince the public of what the Russian government wants to do. So when you have a paid propagandist telling you what the Russian military wants to do, well, that's pretty much their ambition. Have a look-see.
Как говорится, друзья, сперва на Киев, а потом сразу на Берлин.
First to Kyiv, then to Berlin. I didn't write that. I didn't generate that. I didn't say that. She did. And who is she? She's a paid Russian propagandist. And she's telling you what the Russians are planning to do. Now, I don't know if anyone has looked at a map to actually understand exactly where Berlin is in Germany. But you see, there's one interesting fact that she leaves out. If she's in Russia and she wants to get to Berlin, Germany, well, there's just one small problem with that. There is Poland in between there. So how do you get from Russia through Belarus and over to Germany without possibly going through Chechnya and Poland? I mean, there's stuff in the way here. Did I say she was going to Berlin? No, she said they were going to Berlin. And what is between Russia and Berlin? A lot of stuff.
Как говорится, друзья, сперва на Киев, а потом сразу на Берлин.
На Берлин! Знать нам туда дорога, знать нам туда дорога.
Как говорится, друзья,
Well, you see, it's not a thing of Russian forces having the capability to do it. They have 250,000 Chinese troops. They have 250,000 North Korean troops. So if you got 250,000 Chinese troops, if you got 250,000 North Korean troops, and they've probably got close to, by now, I would think, at least 150,000, if not 250,000 troops out of Africa and South America, because you remember we've been tracking all those flights the same as the other flights. We've been watching all of those flights bring those troops in. We've been showing you the video of those troops even being sworn in Russia on Red Square. The Chinese troops, North Korean troops. We've shown you the South African troops and the South American troops on the battlefield with the Russians fighting the Ukrainians. We've shown you those troops being captured on the battlefield. They want money, so CH, they'll do whatever they're getting paid to do. And if they don't, they'll be shot. So would you rather fight or be shot? You should watch more often, CH. Right. They think they can get away with it because there's so many of them. Now, North Korea, they're pushing and telling their troops to be ready. How do we know? Well, they put it on the news.
North Korea has issued a directive to its artillery units near the border to be fully ready to shoot. The order came after Seoul and Pyongyang shared strong warnings regarding alleged leaflet-carrying drone incursions, which the regime accused South Korea of. Our Kim Bo-kyung reports.
Tensions on the Korean Peninsula are escalating as North Korea ordered its artillery corps near the border with South Korea to be fully prepared to shoot. According to the North state-run Korean Central News Agency on Sunday, the General Staff of the North Korean People's Army delivered an Operation Preparatory Directive on Saturday to artillery combined forces near the border and units assigned important firepower missions to be ready for full-scale shooting by Saturday 8 p.m. The regime's urge for readiness comes after the regime's claim of drone incursions on Friday night. Kim Yo-jong, the sister of the regime's leader, warned on Sunday that Seoul would face a horrible disaster if South Korean drones are flown again over the North's capital. Pointing to how the South Korean government maintained an ambiguous stance regarding the North's accusations, Kim said that the North has no concern about who the main force of provoking the recent drone incident is. and that the regime would take strong retaliatory action in case drones carrying anti-regime leaflets infiltrate the regime's territory. After Kim made a threat, the South's defense ministry released a response, warning the reclusive state on Sunday that it will see the end of its regime if it causes any harm to its people. Pyongyang had claimed on Friday that Seoul sent unmanned aerial vehicles carrying propaganda leaflets to its capital on October 3rd, 9th, and 10th. Along with accusations, the KCNA statement threatened Seoul of immediate action if such incursions continue. After releasing the statement, Pyongyang sent trash-carrying balloons for the 28th time. To North Korea's accusations, South Korea's defense minister Kim Yong-hyun denied having sent any drones.
Now, see, they're sending those trash-filled balloons just for the purposes of making them always think that those balloons just have trash. One day, those balloons won't be carrying trash. Remember, I said that.
Across the border. Ambiguous stance, saying it could not confirm whether the North's claims of drones were true. Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News.
Now, there is, correct, they are normalizing it. So, what you see here is where the Chinese Navy has deployed around Taiwan. And if you were tracking these ships earlier today, you would have seen them. They were part of the KLW World News fleet on our map, which also tracks by satellite Chinese military vessels. The interesting part about it was there were several of them all around Taiwan, just like represented on this map, up here to the north, the west, the southwest, the southeast, and directly to the east. It's a little different now because only this Chinese Coast Guard vessel is still on the AIS. So within the last few hours, the Chinese Navy has turned off all of their transponders, and the only thing left on is Korean vessels that are law enforcement, or excuse me, Taiwanese vessels that are law enforcement. So these Taiwanese vessels are the only ones that are still on, and they've turned theirs off here in the last few hours. 7 hours ago, this one did, and 9 hours ago, that one did. The Chinese Coast Guard vessel is the only one that is still transponding. Obviously, he didn't get the order for radio silence because everybody else has went dark. That's right. That would explain why you wouldn't find them. We've got them in our fleet. Okay, so if we go to our fleet and we go down through the Chinese vessels in the area, we've got them in here. Okay, but the issue is that they don't want to show them now, so they're all turned off. But we have them in our what we have. The only thing we have in our fleet are military vessels. That's it, and military vessels that are involved in incursions or what have you. There's no reason to track the entire U.S. Navy because the entire U.S. Navy is not involved. We only track those who come in contact with others on regular, or basically anytime they come in contact with others and it's newsworthy. That's how they make it into our fleet. You know, CH, I don't make predictions. I don't say when things are fluid. Okay. Remember, no plan survives first contact with the enemy. In addition to that, there's already actions taking place that are making changes on the dynamics of the battlefield as we speak. The blowing up of the huge underground weapons cache in Lebanon is one of them. Hitting the Houthis the other day is another one. The Ukrainians going into Russia and taking all that land in Russia, that's another one. These are all things that are changing the dynamics and changing the plans, and then we've got on our side, we've got woke commanders who are sinking ships by running them aground. The first ships to ever run aground within 100 years since World War II, or to be lost by the Navy since World War II. Their own woke captain ran it aground and sank it. So, you've got good, the bad, the ugly. You've got the fire on the Russian carrier. You've got the Chinese carrier fire. It's absolutely insane. So it's an extremely fluid situation with incompetence in addition to all of the other problems that we have. Yeah, a lot of people used to have a good Navy easy. So, we're just trying to show you guys what's going on here and the situation. And we're going to have more for you guys tonight. If there is breaking news, of course, we will bring that to you in real time. If you have not subscribed to KLW World News, you need to go to buymeacoffee.com/KLW News and sign up there to get notifications. Also, we are going to be doing private streams now that I'm back at KLW World News HQ, and we're sending the Intimidator into the shop. We're getting new transmission, new front wheel bearings, new bushings in the front, we're getting a drive shaft professionally balanced. We're getting the rear bearings checked. We're going to get the brakes checked all the way around. And we're going to have them look at some new idler pulleys and a new air conditioner compressor. So is that anytime this shit hits, we can go there. Also, in addition to that, we're upgrading the cameras on the sides of the Intimidator. We're going to put Panaviews on both sides. We're going to put a Panaview on the front. We're taking the PTZ head off of the top of it to lower down. We're going to make the Intimidator about a foot lower in height so we can get into places. We found it to be a problem when we got into North Carolina, and we also found it a problem when we got into some bigger cities. The Intimidator is 12 feet, actually 12.2 in height, so it's basically as high as a short tractor trailer. We want to get it down to a more of a transit van height. And so we're going to try to take a foot and a half off the top of it. The goal is to get her down to about 10 and a half feet, or under 11 if we can do that. I'll be happy with 11. So, anyway, we're going to continue to monitor the situation. We're going to continue to bring it to you. If you haven't signed up, go sign up. This is what's going on in real time. We're tracking this. Again, that ship just updated 14 minutes ago. And this is a Coast Guard vessel. It's moving along at pretty much 18 knots. So they're stroking through the water to be moving at 18 knots. It was built in 2016, so it's a new one. The gross tonnage on this thing is 5,000 tons, and it says dead weight of actually 500 tons. So, yeah, it's a massive vessel here moving out through the water. And again, doing 18 knots is moving pretty quick. CH, how long have you been watching me? Really? You know, you're fairly new. You think we didn't notice that? Well, let me help you a little bit. Okay. So your question, let me go back here. So your question is, it was a fire, CH. Well, anyway, somewhere back up in here, you asked if I had a night vision thermal imager kind of thing. I can't find your exact quote, but that was your exact. But anyway, that's what you asked. If I had a thermal imager night vision type of thing. I'll let you know right now, the video you're about to see was recorded when I was 27 years old. It was recorded back in the late 90s. This is what I had then.
Now return to security systems on modern marvels.
You can only imagine what I have now.
Inventor Lee Wheelbarger is a private citizen who believes that the best defense is an aggressive offense. Security is always dependent on closely observing the bad guy, and Wheelbarger's electronic creations have extended the eyes and ears of America's intelligence network.
What we have here is a pair of gyroscopically stabilized binoculars.
Periodically, select reconnaissance teams trek to Wheelbarger's rural Virginia retreat for an update on the latest in surveillance tools.
In addition, that activates the binoculars. Anytime you depress on the top, you'll hear a click sound. As long as that's depressed, the image that you're seeing is stabilized. You just bring them up, and that gives you a stabilized image of the battlefield, so that you can easily acquire targets and identify them, even from a moving vehicle. Go ahead and try it.
Wheelbarger began his career by aiding local law enforcement. Policemen overcome by assailants are often held by their own handcuffs. Wheelbarger devised a universal handcuff key, able to open any set of cuffs. High-profile kidnap targets, from the late Princess Diana and her family to President Clinton, have since worn the key hidden on their clothes or bodies. Wheelbarger specializes in deciphering the pictures created by thermal imaging cameras. When heat passes through the lens of such a camera, it strikes a detector array capable of registering minute temperature differences. The thermal pulse is then converted into a standard video image.
You'll notice that we're observing an individual in this parking lot, but a small mouse is going to run across the lower part of the screen, and the thermal imager is going to pick it up. Here's our mouse. As he comes up, runs across. That's how accurate a thermal imager is.
Thermal imagers look through surfaces that would block even the most sensitive night vision equipment. Here is the heat from a boiler deep within a ship. These pictures also reveal how recently cars or any machinery have been operated.
Now, the things that we can tell in this photograph is, number one, it was a cooler time of the year, because you see a lot of hot right here, right against the window. That's because the defroster was on. It heated the glass from the inside. We can also see that the rearview mirror has a heater inside of it. there's massive amounts of heat being radiated from underneath the vehicle. This is the muffler on the rear. This is the heat generated from underneath the engine compartment, and we can tell that the front brakes get hotter than the rear brakes. So obviously we probably have disc brakes on the front.
In some surveillance situations, miniaturization is the key to penetrating an enemy's defense.
The camera is a high-resolution camera that can use a standard lens like we have on it here, or it can be fitted with a pinhole lens, which will allow us to look through a hole in the wall approximately the same size as a thumbtack makes. It gives us about a 120-degree field of view inside the room, even though it's only looking through the hole the size of a thumbtack.
Audio surveillance casts an even wider net. This handheld spectrum analyzer can listen in on any cell phone or wireless microphone transmission anywhere in the world. It tracks down signals in the RF spectrum and can detect up to 1,000 frequencies at a time. During the Gulf War, this device was used to monitor conversations between Saddam Hussein and his Iraqi ambassadors, providing information critical to planning the ground invasion. American forces in the Gulf also benefited from rifle-mounted infrared lasers. These beams tracked Iraqi troops at night without giving away Allied positions. In this demonstration, a container of warm water doubles as an enemy soldier. Laser beams are now so sensitive that they can hear distant conversations held behind closed doors, converting tiny vibrations into audio recordings.
What we have here is an infrared laser that will fire a beam up to 3 miles away. We shine this against the glass on the outside of a building, and we can measure the vibration of that glass with this. As the glass vibrates from sounds inside the building, we can detect the movement of the glass, and that allows us to hear what's taking place inside the building.
Wheelbarger's innovations are highly sophisticated tools that can be used for good or ill. When we return, the technology that keeps powerful tools in the proper hands. Until recent modifications by the Secret Service, even the Oval Office was susceptible to having conversations monitored by distant lasers measuring window vibration. Modern marvels will return.
Yes, you can share it. Why did you not go over there? There we go. So yeah, there is some things going on. Thanks for the link to the bird there. There's activity in and around Iraq here. There's also a lot of activity on the KLW World News Network. Each one of those sounds that you're hearing there is a different message going back and forth on the KLW World News Network, and I've got the network up. The Russian ship Ruby has engine problems and nobody wants it. They're letting it sit there. It's much, much bigger than the pile of ammonium nitrate that was in Libya, in Beirut, the explosion in Beirut. What you have to understand is ammonium nitrate by itself is not an explosive. Okay? You have to change ammonium nitrate, and you have to create like a carbon crust over the outside of it, and then you have to heat it. And that's if you're trying to blow up ammonium nitrate by itself. So you have to create a condition of high heat for an extended period of time. It has to build up a crust of ash and soot and burn and charring over the surface of it, so as that it's like baking And then once it reaches a certain temperature or a certain condition, it will detonate. Now, that's the only way that you can get ammonium nitrate by itself to explode. So to take a pile of ammonium nitrate and stick a stick of dynamite into it and set it off, that pile of ammonium nitrate is not going to detonate. It'll scatter all over the place because you set it off with dynamite. But that pile of ammonium nitrate is not going to detonate. If you wanted it to detonate in the ship, well, then you would just simply have the ship full of ammonium nitrate, and then you would start pumping the fuel from the ship into the bins that have the ammonium nitrate. Then, once those piles of ammonium nitrate had been, I don't want to say submerged, but let's just say wetted down, so as that all of it was wet with diesel fuel or the number 2 bunker that is on the ship. Once they had taken that ship, and we can track that ship, by the way. We have the capability, so if we want to go look for it, what country is Ruby? It's Russian, right? Or what's because we were tracking her before. Actually, maybe she might be in my. Yeah, all right, it's Malta flag. Yeah. All right, so this is. Oh, she's still sitting there. That's where it says she is now, right? That's the correct one. Let's go back and see what there's one in Budapest, UK. But that's crude oil and cargo. Oh, that's the one off the coast of the UK. This is the one. Yeah, right here. Yeah, it's this one. Yeah, we were tracking it before, and I haven't tracked it in weeks. But I'm pretty sure this is the one. There it is. You can see it. Actually, this is moving. Was somebody towing it? It says it's underway at 13.2 knots. All right, thank you, Mark. Well, no, right here. Oh no, there's no knots. I'm sorry. What the hell is this? So yeah, here it is. It's not. No, it's at anchor. And that was 3 minutes ago. right there. Yeah, it's still sitting there. So there it is. Ruby is 2 minutes ago, and we're going to add that to our fleet. I thought it already was, but she's there now as of 3 minutes ago. So we will keep an eye on her. Yeah, because once you're so far out, if you're damaged or whatever, you can park it there. I would get a tug and move it myself, but there she be. That can change. That's what I want. Right there. Right, so there's a yellow and don't actually look. Right, so she's actually not even in an anchorage. So she's at anchor, but she is not in. See, the anchorage is down here. Or no, that's a wind farm there. I'm sorry. I wouldn't zoom in a icons right. Yeah, that's a wind farm there. So it's not there. So she's going to come back. Right, so there she is. Down here is the wind farm. She's up here. There's an anchorage here, but she's not allowed in the anchorage. She is actually outside of the anchorage over here. And we could so she is exactly 1 nautical mile away from their anchorage. And I guess it looks like they've pretty much told her you got to stay at least a mile away from the anchorage, and she is. She is exactly 1 nautical mile away from the edge of the anchorage. Yes, she would have to be on fire to explode, and she would have to be on fire for some period of time. So, this is an anchorage here, this area right here. Okay, each one of these is a position that you can drop your anchor. So there's a significant amount of distance in between one of these because you got to allow for what's called swing. So they got individual positions in here. And then markers, warnings. Well, they got winds out of the east here. All right, so I like this nautical chart. This is nice. You got all your cans, your gnomes, your channel markers. Well, that whole fucking thing is an anchorage right there. Oh no, that's no anchoring. I gotta make this ship bigger. I can't. I'm sure you guys on the phone can get it. Is there? Hot dog. That makes it more better, don't it? You bet it does. Oh yeah, not only are they playing around near the Philippines, I'm telling you, I really like this map now. I'm liking it. Yeah, but these are Philippine and other vessels. I haven't seen very many of the China Coast Guard down here. See this one here, I've already tracked. See, he's in my fleet already. So I've already been tracking him. Same thing with this guy. So I keep track of who the troublemakers are. They're already in my fleet. So every time I find them in and around, they get added to our fleet. That way we know exactly who the bad guys are and where the bad guys. I mean, look, the way this is going to work is they're going to have a group of thugs that are going to be doing the bad stuff. They're going to be regularly involved in the aggressive activity. They're going to have they're going to be involved in the incursions with other forces, and they're going to do that regularly. Those are the ones that are going to be doing it and are normally involved. They're the bad actors. And so that's who we're tracking in our fleet. And then the American vessels and other vessels that encounter those bad actors, again, those are the people involved. So anytime there's an incursion and we find out about it, we go and we track the vessels that were involved in that incursion. That way we can get rid of all the other vessels in the world and say, where are all the bad guys? And ta-da, think there they are on the map. So that's why and how we do ours. So let's see here. So there is a lot going on. I'm not planning on staying on this all day. This was just a news briefing to tell you that things are warming up. We're going to fire up the simulator. We're going to see if we can take a flight. I'm going to see if I can get some additional information about some places. And we're going to do a sim flight here shortly. It'll probably be on this is an Escalation 6-pack. So all right, Hammer, look forward to getting you back on. Also, a lot of people have been kicked off a coffee club from the folks at Stripe. So if you're not getting notifications to our broadcasts, that's because Stripe has canceled your membership. They've canceled 120 people in the last 30 days. So anyway, with that, we're going to end this one. I'm going to go get more intel on things that are going on, try to get some better imagery loaded, go investigate a few places, and then we're probably going to come back with a flight, and then we're probably going to do another flight tonight, later on tonight, around some of these places. I think it's about time that we already took one flight over Taiwan with the helicopters going from military base to military base to military base. I want to see if we've got improved imagery of that. I want to see if we can inject some imagery into that. I want to go revisit the missile sites along the border. I also want to revisit the towns to see if we've got any new imagery or mapping of those locations. Yeah, we don't understand why people would use Stripe, but we don't have a choice with Buy Me a Coffee. That's their preferred vendor for whatever reason. So with that, I have got to roust up the piggy. Get on there.
That's all, folks.